My first film I wrote and directed, that was Crash, and then Million Dollar Baby, which I had written and produced, came up before. But I was always considered myself a filmmaker, and so there's really no difference for me when I just write something or if I direct it. I'm still trying to do the best job I can. I just try to tell a good story. With this, what it was truly taking a plot, which I thought was very good, and then saying, okay, what would I do? How would I approach this if I decided I had to do this? If I saw my wife disintegrating before my eyes, if I saw my son becoming alienated, and I just figured I had to do this, what would I do? And I thought, well, so I do the research. So I went to the jail, and I figured out how people broke out of there, and I found out that most people that tried to break out, this way or that, there'd been 3 escape attempts, no one had made it out alive. And they told me about the key to the elevator that one fellow had tried to use, and he bribed a guard to get it, and I thought that was too easy. I said, oh, so how do you make a key? So you go online. That's what I do. I go online. And I found this thing about the bump key. I went, oh, fucking cool. So I said, does that work? And I tried it, it worked. And then this found out, how do you break into a vehicle? In Fred's film, the vehicle was just open. I said, no, it's too easy. I wanted to make things harder and harder. So how do you break into that car? Well, I know, the coat hanger or whatever. But I thought, and I went online and I found this thing about the tennis ball. I said, wow, that's cool. So I tried that. So basically, I just applied what I would use, and I used the tools that I had. I had an iPhone, I had, I had a computer, and I had a Prius. And this is what I needed to break the woman I love out of prison. Go. I know exactly how to get to Pittsburgh. There's something very perverse in me. It's happened all my life. It's no fun for me to convince you of something that's easy to convince you of. If I can convince you of something fantastic that's impossible, then I'm telling a good story. So there were many things in this that I thought were incredible. The fact that it would be difficult to believe. And I went, yes, okay, that's the case. But what if I did this, this, and this? Would you then believe it? And so I love doing that. It's a lot of fun for me, and seeing how far I can stretch credibility is, and how much I can make you believe, because I'm I guess mirroring what the character has to believe. He has to believe something fantastic, that he can do this, that his wife is innocent, and B, that he can pull something like this off. It's fantastic, and so it's a lot of fun for me to make you believe in the impossible. No, I think I'm always fascinated by things that trouble me. I didn't set out to make political films or films that made statements, or I just deal with things that trouble me personally. In Crash, those were all things that had bothered me about living in Los Angeles. In the Valley of Ella, it was hard not to be bothered by what's been happening in the war and what continues to happen. It sickened me. So it was a personal thing, not a political thing. In this, it mirrored what was going on in my life. I saw my relationship disintegrating, so I started dealing with relationships, and that's what I'm writing about next. Is relationships. I like to write about things I don't understand. I try never to think about actors when I'm writing, because I think you do the actor a great disservice by doing so, because you will automatically write for things they've done before and done well. And so if I start to think of an actor, I push him out of my mind, and I just continue to see the character. And then once the script is finished, and I'm happy with it, and I've done several drafts, then finally I'll start thinking about actors, and I really have to picture the actor in all the scenes, and yes, they'd be very good. And so as soon as I finished writing, I made a very short list of the actors I would want, and Russell Crowe was on the top of that list. And so I sent it to him. He said yes. I went over to meet with him, and when he was shooting Robin Hood, he cooked me a steak in the backyard. He said he wanted to do it, and that was it. Yes, I wanted an actor who could completely disappear into the character and who you could forget. I mean, Russell Crowe, we all know, he's a larger-than-life personality, and he's done The Gladiator in this, but he also is such a skilled actor. He's done The Beautiful Mind, he's done The Insider, and so I wanted an actor who within 5 minutes of being on the screen, you would forget that he was a movie star. You'd forget all those things, and you just think about it, go, oh my God, this guy can never do this. The poor guy. And I knew that Russell could do that. So here's the interesting thing about film, which I found. If you show something, it's incredibly powerful, much more powerful than if you say something. If you show something at the end of the movie, it's particularly powerful. What I showed you was two versions. In the beginning, I show you Russell Crowe looking at the evidence and wondering if he's wrong. And he pictures what all the evidence amounts up to be. In the end, I show you a policeman who's sitting there and wondering if he's wrong. And I show you all the same evidence, just twisted around a bit. Someone else came there first. And this is someone thinking that. It's a policeman sitting going, I wonder if this happened. But we don't think that, because we see it on the screen and we go, oh, of course. And then you see, oh, the button, which I invented. Oh, so it's the button, so that proves she's innocent. Really? But I admit this. After I put it on the screen, I realized that's exactly the way it looks. Yeah, exactly the way it looks. But you have to really think about it to realize it's complete bullshit. It's all a matter of interpretation. Yes. But the most important thing for me is that Russell Crowe's character will never know. And in fact, the police will actually never know. It's always a question. So it's, I thought it was fun to be able to show things in two different ways. But I think I did too good of a job. Yes. I was going to direct it. Then I was directing Crash. I got a little bit of money to do $1 Million Baby. And I had Hilary Swank, and who I convinced my partner to cast, and I had Morgan Freeman. And I was looking for the actor to play Frankie. And we sent the script to Clint Eastwood. And I was a little concerned because I said, he's going to want to direct. My partner said, no. So I said to him, and he called back, and he said, I really like it, can I direct it? To which I said, let him find his own fucking script. And then my agents descended on me and said, Paul, if Clint Eastwood directs your movie, he will make your career. Oh, fuck, I hate that. And I sat about it for 2 weeks and then thought, Clint Eastwood will do a better job at this movie than I will. Of course he should do it. And I was so glad that he did. He did such a brilliant job. And we became very close. We've done 3 movies since as collaborators. And so I was honored he'd do it. The reason I did it, I was, again, asked questions, things that haunt me. In this case, there were several things in $1 Million Baby. The idea of sacrifice, what would you give up, again, for the woman you love? This was a father-daughter relationship, but he loved this woman desperately. I thought, well, what would you give up? Okay. Well, if you were Catholic and you believed that the only thing you had was your eternal soul, would you give that up? Then I had a long history in my first divorce in which my daughter and I became estranged. And that troubled me deeply. And so that I explored, I created the whole idea of the letters that he sent to his daughter who wouldn't speak to him. Now, my daughter and I now speak, it's great. But at the time, it was horrible. And so I wanted to, I think that my job is to take the personal pain I feel and put it on the screen. That's my job. I'm a masochist. But I think if I don't do it, then it's not truth. It's not real. No one will identify with it. So I did that. And also, I've been haunted for years by the experience of having to pull the plug on my best friend who died. And I had to make the decision whether he lived or died. And that still haunts me. So, those are the personal reasons I was attracted to it.
Thank you.